The reason I marched is because the time I spent in jail, all I wanted every day was to be heard.
What do we want? Justice! What do we want now?
America is protesting for Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, and George Floyd. But we're still crying, and there's so much more to the story.
If you are someone who is sitting at home watching these protests and believe that the entire moment is about policing, you're only partially right.
Shut it down! Shut it down!
I can't wait for Bree to get to hold both of her boys.
For all purposes, I'm mom in his eyes.
Love you. Love you. We raised one girl. And these are two boys, and my God, it's a lot of work. A lot of well worth it work, too. Right? We tried to make it so that the boys didn't miss a beat. Best we could.
Aren't you scared of me? No. You, oh, I'm so scary. I'm so scary.
Pretty cute. Yeah.
I've always been a single mother also, and me and my boys are you know, tighter than most. They are my life, they're my world, they're why I breathe every day. Thank God for my parents. They have taken on full responsibility for my boys, so I never had to worry about them going into foster care or things like that, which is a huge blessing.
I just haven't worked, you know, in a good while.
This is so not where what I thought my life would be like.
Well, it put our life on hold. I mean, as far as a couple, which is, it's been on hold for 25 years, with a couple more, you know. So.
It's been hard to deal with, and it's been hard to see them struggle with things that I could potentially have control over if I was allowed to have control over my life right now. So it's been really frustrating as a mother, as a daughter.
In my work, we have an intentional design to walk into neighborhoods and grab up the guys and the girls that you would consider troublemakers and help them understand the importance of being a part of a bigger fight. I was in jail for 11 months and 4 days. Because my bail was $7,500, I could not afford it. When I got arrested, I had a newborn son that was 10 days old. I was an undergraduate student. I just started a mentoring program. I was a family man, I was a father. I was so many things prior to me going to jail.
In the American system, bail is an amount of money that gets set that you have to pay in order to get out to fight your case from a position of freedom. You haven't yet been convicted of anything, it's merely an accusation.
When someone's arrested, the court has to make a determination. They can release someone on their own recognizance. They can say that someone should not be eligible for bail. They need to stay in because of the crime they allegedly committed. And then in between that, there can be situations where people need to have a bond.
The theory was if you set bail at an amount somebody could pay, it would give them an incentive to come back to court. They'd have skin in the game. And our American cash bail system has been built on that, what I now know is a myth, for a very, very long time.
Brianna was charged with allegedly possessing someone else's driver's license. So she sat from June to August on a $50,000 cash only bond that was unreasonable in and of itself because none of us could post that. And then 2 months later, he lowers it to $5,000 where she only needs to scrape together $500 for a bondsman to post her bond. And then she can't do that either.
In the Eighth Amendment, in the Bill of Rights, which, as I think everybody knows, those are our inalienable rights, our God-given rights. It says that bail shall not be excessive.
In addition to the Eighth Amendment, the 14th Amendment contains critical protections for those facing detention prior to trial. The 14th Amendment guarantees the right to pretrial liberty.
"76% of the people that are being held in our local state jails across this country are being held there before they have been convicted of a crime. They're being held there pre-trial.
She's literally been sitting because her and her family can't scrape together $500 to post to a bondsman. It's unbelievable.
There are several main ways that cash bail affects people's lives. I mean, the first and most obvious one is that if you can't afford to pay it, you're stuck in a cage.
So to be taken away from not only my children, but my newborn, and to be taken from my family and the community that I was in, I think that was a lot.
The second way it affects people is that it affects their families. When someone is taken away from their family, they're unable to care for their children. They're unable to provide for their family. They lose their job. They can interrupt important medical care, miss a rent payment. They can lose their place in a homeless shelter. It destabilizes someone's life to be trapped in a jail cell.
So being on Rikers Island for the 11 months and 4 days, you know, it did a lot to me, right? And for a lot of people, 11 months and not only did I feel trapped in my own mind, my body was literally trapped. That's not a good feeling, to know that someone else have control of your life. My son probably would never forget that because he had to watch me as he learned to walk and crawl while I was inside.
It's been a struggle physically, financially, emotionally.
It's upsetting that someone can sit on that high of a bond amount for a nonviolent offense like this one, and just the absurdity of that.
I was angry. Really, really frustrated with the system, really, pissed off that not only myself, but, all of us in here were just another number. There's no life behind our name in the court's eyes, and it's frustrating.
When I think about the trap, what I think about is when you're sitting on either a way too large cash bail or a comparatively large cash bail where you're indigent and can't afford anything.
Really? You gonna shed a tear? I didn't think so.
Hi, sweet boy. I miss you so much. I miss your brother so much too. I hope you really are liking school and are staying out of trouble, smiley face. I'm so sorry Mommy has been here for so long and hasn't been able to be at home. Just know that I'm not far because I am always in your heart. No matter where you are, Mommy is with you, in your heart, always.
They knew I wasn't guilty. I did a whole year. There shouldn't be a bail to put people in a cage.
Free our mothers in cash bail. Free our mothers in cash bail.
Most Americans don't know is that on any given night in America, there are 500,000 people that go to sleep in jail cells because they cannot pay their bail. What the data shows is that about 2.5 million people a year are held in jail cells on cash bail. The numbers are enormous, and it is why it's really become a human rights crisis in this country. So over the past 20 years, 100% of jail growth has been the result of bail and the American cash bail system that holds people in jail cells who haven't been convicted of a crime because they don't have enough money to pay.
Some of the most prominent examples in recent history culturally, of course, are Sandra Bland.
Get out of the car! And then I will light you up. Get out!
Wow.
Now!
A woman who was kept in a jail cell after a traffic stop just because she couldn't make a small monetary payment.
You're about to break my wrist. Can you stop? You are about to break my wrist.
Stop moving! Stop now!
Or Khalif Browder, the child who was sent to Rikers for 3 years because he was accused of stealing a backpack because his family couldn't afford a small payment to get off Rikers Island. Both of them suffered enormous trauma in jail. Sandra died, and Khalif took his own life shortly after his release.
The tragic stories of Khalif Browder and Sandra Bland were such catalysts for change because they exposed for all to see the cruelty of our bail systems.
But the story of the American money bail system is the story of millions of people like them whose names aren't in the newspaper every year. Being a public defender and representing impoverished people, mostly people of color accused of crimes, was an incredibly formative experience for me. It was devastating, it was exhilarating. I made incredible relationships. It also had a profound effect on me, watching the assembly line of the system churn. And feeling every single day like I was a part of it. Because I am a part of it. We're all a part of and complicit in massive injustices just by existing in our society, just by being Americans in our world.
A band of badass civil rights lawyers has descended upon Dallas. We're prepping for a big hearing tomorrow in one of our big cases challenging the unconstitutional bail system here in Dallas.
Going over the witnesses that we're going to call, the questions we're going to ask them, the evidence we're going to submit to the judge, the arguments we're going to make.
I'm excited. Always nervous because you never know what the judge is going to think. Every judge is different. And the other side has been really nasty.
In the first 10 months of 2015, I was personally involved in 12 class action lawsuits in 12 different cities in a number of different states, challenging the current cash bail system as it operates. Since then, we've brought bigger and bigger cases in different jurisdictions all over the country. We brought a challenge in Houston, Texas against Harris County and judges there. We've got challenges in New Orleans, in San Francisco, in Chicago, in Massachusetts. All over the country, we're bringing these challenges. The claim that we've been bringing all over the country is a simple one, and that claim is that no human being should be kept in a cage just because she can't make a monetary payment. Well, all of these issues are both local and national, so you need a fundamental change in the narrative nationally and how people think about the criminal punishment system. But you also need grassroots organizing on a local level to demand big changes from local politicians who, in each locality around the country, control the machinery of our punishment system.
Oh my goodness, that turned out so good!
Yeah.
The only way change has really happened in this country is when people make a decision to put their hands on the plow, to put their bodies on the line, to do the work that needs to be done for the sake of liberation for all of us. Yes! It says, I am not sorry. I will never be sorry. I would do everything I did again if I had to. Everything. I grew up on Sundays, you go and visit folk in jail. You know, just part of the tradition and schedule of what you do. Everything that I saw happening in my family and my community was our fault. Had no analysis of systemic racism and systemic violence, white supremacy, none of those things. When I moved to Atlanta about 12 years ago or so, I met a woman in a bar. And I asked her what she did for work. And she said she was trying to stop the shackling of black women while giving birth in prison. And it blew my whole mind. It blew me up. I was like, what? And you doing something about it? That's the part that I think really struck me, what you could do something. And she introduced me to song. I'm with Southerners on New Ground. We're an organization that's been trying to take down the pretrial detention system, because we like poor people shouldn't have to sit in jail just because they ain't got money. And we specifically help women get out of the jail who can't afford their bail. I felt the call to do this work in service to a liberation that I had never known before, but felt like gospel. Very much like the time I spent in the church. Got a word about your daughter, trying to see how we can support, and if she needs to be bailed out. I understand that her bail is $50. Let me know. The most effective ways to enact criminal justice reform is certainly by the people who have experienced it.
The main need right now is housing. My concern right now is just weighing on me like, damn, you know what I mean? Where they gonna go?
We're reminded of what we knew in our DNA, of what our people had done for each other. So we decided to bail out black mothers for Mother's Day. The first year we did it, there was about 7 of our sites and chapters that engaged in doing a bailout. This year, just inside of Song Along, there's about 9 sites and chapters that are going to be doing bailouts, from small town in Wilmington, North Carolina, Charlottesville, Virginia, Birmingham, Alabama, Durham, North Carolina. The list goes on.
Yeah, that would be
We set a goal of raising $75,000 for our Mama's Bailout Day, and we're really close to reaching it.
Every time someone donates, they get added to the listserv, so that number has probably grown exponentially.
The other day I tweeted at Malcolm Jenkins, one of the Eagles players who's been vocal about criminal justice reform. And then he donated $1,000. We just reached our goal of raising $75,000.
This is progress. This is...
You wanted to scream?
Sorry. Oh, this is their grandmother. Hello? Yes. This is the most meaningful work that I'm doing. I've left some jobs to be able to keep doing this because I feel my energy is so called in this moment, in this movement, in this city, and it's amazing to know I'm not alone in giving so much of myself and my own heart to this work. We have an incredible team, and we're all in this.
I'll be on your team. Right? Teresa, I can pull you in if they try to take you.
Yeah.
So the Constitution prohibits excessive bail from being set, and what that means is simple. Bail, if it's going to be set in a cash amount, has to be set in an amount somebody can afford to pay. Judges have been setting and prosecutors have been asking for bail to be set in amounts that people can't pay. Some people can pay it. Wealthy people can pay the bail that gets set by judges and prosecutors, but low-income people, and disproportionately women and marginalized communities and communities of color,
It is no accident that we see a disproportionate number of African Americans ensnared in the cash bail system. Whenever you have a system predicated on having to pay money in order to secure liberty, you are going to, by definition, disadvantage Black and brown populations.
The person with money is free and can fight their case and will have better life and case outcomes, and somebody who's from a low-income community who cannot afford the cash bail because they are making decisions with a limited amount of resources about whether to feed their children, keep the roof over their head, or pay cash bail.
Study after study after study has shown that African Americans and people of color are 25% more likely to be detained because of cash bail, and they are significantly, statistically, much more likely to receive higher bail.
That's where the inequity happens. That's where the injustice happens, and that's why the American cash bail system, right, is inexcusable and unconstitutional as it's been practiced.
So my name is Kara Tratner, and I'm with the Philadelphia Community Bail Fund, one of the organizers.
Wonderful. And so what's happening today?
So right now we're in the process of posting bail for 15 Black women, and they will be released in a number of hours. So we're going to head up to the jails also to meet them as they're getting out and support them in getting home. I think NBC is coming if you want to be famous today. The idea was created by Mary Hooks and other folks at Song and people from Black Lives Matter who came together and literally just dreamed this into existence. It's also important to say that year-round, as a community bail fund, we post bail for anyone. But for one day, for 24 hours, we are following the call to say Black women need to come home and need to be with their families and community members.
This is great. This is great. I feel the emotion. I feel the togetherness. I feel the support.
hard to find words to explain what I feel being an organizer in this moment in the city of Philadelphia.
A breath of fresh air. A breath of fresh air.
So we just found out about one more Black woman who is in urgent need of bail assistance. And so right now we're trying to figure out if we can make it work.
Welcome home! Welcome home!
She was at risk of losing a good job. She had young children at home that she was separated from. Her family had reached out and was overcome with stress that she was in jail. Happy Mother's Day!
Yes, please, get my babies. Oh, my mama's going to go get them. Thank you so much.
Get home safe, too. You have someone's number if you need anything?
Yes.
Okay, we'll see you Thursday?
Yes. Thank you. My bail was $50,000. It was $5,020 was my 10% to get out. And had my bail not been posted, I would have been in there till my court date. My daughters have been affected tremendously. Like they've never been without me for this amount of time. Everything I do is for my children. Every sacrifice I make, every breath I take is for my children. I missed y'all so much.
You gotta stay in there.
Huh?
You gotta stay in there.
No, I'm out. I'll be home. Okay? And then we go to court. We just gotta pray, okay? All right.
On a gun charge, you're gonna need at least 500 down.
There's two sides to the story, right?
And a working cosigner. We can always lower the amount.
Is the current criminal justice system perfect? No, it's not. Is the current bail bond system perfect? It's
How
not.
much are you guys working with? The total bail.
Our bail system is broken.
We need to reform this system.
It is archaic.
It should not be about who's poor.
Now, the average bail in California, ladies and gentlemen, is $50,000.
Bail reform efforts are happening all around the country. It is an incredibly exciting time, and I think a tremendous opportunity to actually make some change that's going to have long-term impact.
I think the bail reformers are a little optimistic about what they think they're going to accomplish with bail reform.
John Bretz has been in the bail bonds business for 11 years. He has a problem with SB 10.
It's not going to hurt our business, it's going to put us out of business.
If Senate Bill 10 goes through, then our organization would basically be out of business here in California. Hey, so real quick on this $325,000 bond, right?
A bail bondsman is a licensed insurance agent in every state where they do business. Their job is to secure people's release from jail by posting a fraction of the amount of the bail bond, typically 10 to 15% depending on the state.
In order to get out of jail, you have to make an upfront payment. That's where the for-profit commercial bail bond industry comes in.
Their job is to make sure that a person returns to court.
If that person fails to appear in court, we got 45 to 60 days to find him. There's a white van that's busted down right there in front of it. We are not police officers. We only have the power to go after the person that jumped bond on us. That address is on the warrant. It's on the warrant for him. So
what's his
if
name?
He's in there, you got a problem.
I told y'all he's not
Sheldon! They pledge that they would make that payment for you if you don't come back to court. And you pay them a non-refundable 10% fee usually to get out of jail. You never see that money again, even if you come back to court, even if you're acquitted.
The system has continued the way it has because of the utter indifference to people who are ensnared in it. Certainly the bail bond industry has a direct business reason to want to keep American cash bail going. That's their bread and butter.
I don't really like this bill. It will cause many to lose their businesses and employ over 5,000 people.
I have roughly 400 or 500 employees / contractors that do work for me now.
I'm not interested in killing the bail system because I think that they play a very important role. It will devastate an industry dominated by women and minority owners.
We are the largest Latino-owned bail bond company in the country. And I'm very proud of that. You know, it's taken a lot of work. And I don't know. I don't really have a plan B just yet.
I grew up during a time where the crack epidemic just started hitting, impacting families, destroying families, breaking up families. And at the same time as the heightening in drug use became a problem, so did mass incarceration. My father and my mother, they got locked up.
I had a picture-perfect childhood. My mother was head of PTA. She was always up at the school with me doing things. My dad owned his own insurance company, so I got to see just kind of like the all-American, you know, picture-perfect type home.
Me and my siblings and my cousins to be raised by our grandmother. 15 people in a 4-bedroom apartment. Growing up in the projects, that was not an easy thing.
Graduated high school, I started a job with my aunt managing a perfume store. During that time, I got my associate's degree in business and I got pregnant with my first little boy. So really, everything that I was trying to do, you know, as far as going the route of opening my own business, and that kind of was at a halt, and got pregnant with my second little boy. And that was 3 years ago. It's literally, I've batted my eyelashes, and here I am now. Thank God kids are resilient. They're gonna love you no matter what.
Rikers Island is known to be not only just a war zone, but a place of hopelessness. I was in jail for 11 months and 4 days. I cried every day. I cried eternally, and I cried externally. And I cried to the point where brothers can see my pain. I had to change so many things about myself just to maintain my sanity.
Another harm of cash bail is that it keeps people in pretrial detention. And when you're stuck in pretrial detention, you're much more likely to be forced into pleading guilty. The only way out of jail is to plead guilty. A lot of people will take that deal.
When you offer a plea because you cannot afford bail, you are enticed, like a kid wanting candy. You are enticed with this idea that you can take this time and be home sooner.
I remember it was the court day after her first bond hearing with me. I could see in her face that she had no hope of posting that bond. She told me, well, what do you think I could get on a plea deal right now. And I remember when she said that to me, I mean, I panic on the inside. And the first thing I told her was, please don't do that.
Also, you're not able to help prepare your lawyer. You can't find witnesses. You can't help your lawyer collect evidence. You're more likely to be convicted even if your case goes to trial.
You know, I told Brianna, like I tell every client in her position, I understand. That happens all the time. They become willing to take a plea since she's been sitting for so many months and not able to post bail. It starts making her willing to take a deal that at this point in the case she should never take.
So it affects people years into the future because now they've got convictions that they wouldn't otherwise have had. Now it's harder to get a job. It's harder to get housing. It's harder to provide for your family.
I woke up and said to myself, even if I was to come home in that little bit of time, as a black man, I will not become anything other than what they painted me to be. And at that point, I told myself, I will not be pleading guilty.
And at the end of the day, the problem is it's their choice. And I beg them and I plead them, just hang on for a little bit. Give me a little more time. Let me see what I can do. Let me try to get you out of jail. That's where the squeezing out is. And the state knows that. And they know that once they're holding someone on bond, it limits the time that I have to properly deal with that client, with that case. And if they can squeeze me out and force that plea, they're going to do it.
We have to be honest about this. We've used the criminal justice system to rake money. A lot of people have, companies have, communities have, governments have.
The money incentive where, you know, if we hold this person longer and the more people we hold, the more money goes back to the county.
All around the country, we're transferring billions of dollars a year, every single year, from the poorest people in our society to some of the richest people in our society, the banks and insurance companies and bail bond industry.
So the issue that creates is pretty simple. They have a financial incentive to keep more people in for longer. And who is it the easiest to keep in jail? It's the indigent.
I think we're a friend of the friendless. I mean, I think that's why we exist. That's why, as we look at history, as we've talked about, that we help people who can't afford to post 100% themselves.
The only reason to detain someone, to take away their liberty pre-trial, is because they're a threat to public safety or they're a flight risk. But to the extent we're going to be focused more on the monetary aspects of it, we're never going to be able to get out of this trap.
The state of California took a landmark step toward criminal justice reform today as Governor Jerry Brown signed a bill that would eliminate cash bail for those awaiting trial.
Very sweeping. It goes further than any other state has gone, and so I think we would expect any change like that to end up being challenged.
Yeah, I was never involved in politics. Hey, how's it going? Good. When I found out that, you know, Senate Bill 10 was actually, you know, gathering steam, I just dove in. Hey, Caesar, good to meet you.
Nice to meet
you. So we got some industry folks on the phone before the law was even signed by the governor to say, this is how much money we need to raise, which was roughly $3 million.
The bail bond industry, when they realized that SB 10 was going to put them out of business, managed to get 400,000 signatures in California.
Oh, man, this one's a little heavy. We were the only ones that stepped forward and said, enough is enough, we're not going to let this happen.
These mean, honestly, it just means people, you know, registered voters, you know, I think they're just tired of soft on crime bills.
There'll be a ballot initiative that will be put to the citizenry in California about whether or not SB 10 should stand or not stand and cash bail should be ended or not ended. We'll see that election in 2020.
Yeah, this goes with you.
It's a good feeling, you know? It's not something you do every day for sure, you know, but it's a good feeling. I'm glad I'm here.
So we got nearly 400,000 signatures, which was enough to have the Secretary of State certify it, and it'll be on the 2020 ballot. So I think we were successful, at least so far.
It's that saying, right? It's not the size of the dog, it's the fight of the dog. You got to be a fighter in this industry. I mean, whether you're fighting a competitor or fighting, you know, trying to find somebody, or even at this point, you know, getting you know, enough signatures on a petition. It's always an uphill battle, but you know, we're fighters, and you know, we're not just gonna, you know, we're not gonna go down easily.
We're in a moment right now where there are black mothers sitting in cages that need their voices heard. And so our goal is to be able to amplify those and then continue to build from there so we can ultimately end pretrial detention.
Okay, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
I want to try to get in there and let's play it and see if we can, you know, get their ear. 404-823-7739. Usually it's a warning to leave, not necessarily arrest right away. So when we go in, game time. Mama, mama, can't you see?
Mama, mama, can't you see?
What the system doing to me?
What the system doing to me?
They lock us up, they keep us down.
They lock us up, they keep us down.
Ain't no justice in this town.
Ain't no justice in this town.
We come with the stories and testimonies of women who are currently sitting in Union City Jail right now. They haven't seen a judge in a year.
Y'all disrupting the meeting.
We understand, and if you all would move for a motion, we'd be happy to take public comments, and we understand it was at 10. It's urgent, sir. It's urgent. It's urgent. There's a certain level of dedication when you believe in a thing, when you give your heart to a thing. You cannot put your hand on me, sir. Their official business should be about the wellness of our people.
Let's go, ma'am. Ma'am, please. Ma'am, please.
And how's the overall health of the women in there? They're dying in there. They're dying in there. So we've been getting phone calls and letters from women inside of Fulton County Jail about the egregious conditions. So today our mandate from those women is to make sure that their voices, their stories gets heard inside of Fulton County Commissioners meeting so that they can do something about it, because women are literally dying on their watch. And people should know what's happening in there. They're talking about the abuse of the corrections officers. And these women ain't been charged with nothing. And even if they did, they have their dignity and respect that is not being valued.
I can stream this back, or I can just drive it back.
We've been trying to meet with Commissioner Arrington for about 6 months now. He's given us the runaround. We haven't been
Hooks.
H-O-O-K-S.
I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on freedom. I woke up this morning with my mind was on freedom. When COVID hit, we immediately changed and widened our demand to end pretrial detention to free them all. Everybody must come out. And we began putting pressure on the district attorney's office. What are the values that what people believe in that actually allows them to align themselves with what we're talking about? And ultimately, they begin releasing people. It's the power that we have together.
Brianna?
Hey.
Hi, it's Shannon.
What's up?
Zach, the prosecutor, has finally agreed to an ROR, or a signature bond. So the best case scenario is we go into the hearing tomorrow, we ask the judge to order a signature bond, and then a couple hours after court, they get the judge's order, jail processes her out, and she would be reunited with her family.
I may get to lay in bed tonight with my baby and tickle her back. That's a big leap from picturing her in a women's prison for the next 10 years.
How are you doing? Sir, I just want to let you know, so you can step on up to the bar right here, if that's all right, Deputy? Is that all right? We have one of the worst big city criminal punishment systems in the country.
This is a charge of being a parent contributing to the truancy of a school child not going to school. How do you plead to that charge?
I was homeless at the time.
How do you plead to the charge? I don't know what you're telling me.
Guilty.
Plead guilty, finds you guilty, $150 fine. You have a misdemeanor charge of possessing less than 2 ounces of marijuana. There's probable cause, bond is $1,000. Are you requesting a court-appointed lawyer?
I guess, sure.
Give me a yes or a no.
Yeah. I'm saying yes, you say you can't hear me.
No, I didn't say that. I'd asked you a question.
Well, I'm trying to-
I heard what you said. Your bond just went up to $2,000.
The way that people less fortunate than me were treated has just bothered me from when I was very young. Okay. And so that's what kind of led me eventually to do criminal defense work. And in doing that, I really just got to see even closer the worst practices of the system. It was a farce and a joke.
I have a custody hearing with my son and my daughter, Madden and Gracie. That would be next Thursday. If I could get a PR bond, if it pleases the courts, it would really make me happy and my family happy.
Make me happy if you could get out of jail on your own. I've lowered your bond, but there's not going to be a personal bond.
For your arrest for the misdemeanor offense of failing to stop and give information, a bond was already set in your case in the amount of $1,000.
The bond is set at $1,000.
Bond is set at $2,000.
Leave your bond at $1,500, deny your personal bond.
I can't grant a pretrial release bond at this time.
So the culture of the criminal justice system has always been that prosecutors ask for bail on almost everything. What they say and what they recommend only matters because judges follow it. Judges don't have to take the recommendation of prosecutors in setting cash bail.
When I ran for judge, I always thought that maybe I'd be a gadfly and run on a platform of ending pretrial detention, right? Just to get out there and start talking crazy.
This problem could go away tomorrow if judges simply exercised their discretion and began to release people and actually did not just follow blindly the recommendation of the prosecutor.
Don't want to keep you from seeing your kids. I'm granting you release on this. It makes a really satisfying noise when I hit it. Who needs a gavel when you have a solid metal pen? You know, fundamentally, I think that a criminal courthouse that's built around incarcerating people, that's built around its proximity and attachment to one of the largest local jails in the country, just on so many different levels, it doesn't work.
The Harris County Jail is one of the largest jail systems in America. We're the third largest in the country and the largest in the state. Prior to taking office as sheriff, I saw the many opportunities for reform. Traditionally, here in Harris County, it seemed that there was a big reliance on cash bail, and that would disproportionately impact a lot of individuals, especially those that were of lower means.
What was happening when we sued was about 50,000 misdemeanor arrestees every year were being thrown in jail in Harris County and told you're free to go if you can pay money. And 20,000 of them every year, 40% of them, couldn't.
You got time to convince Judge Carahan when you get to court in the morning whether or not he will consider a personal bond for you, but I'm not. All right, go ahead and step to your left.
You know, the bail lawsuit will be the greatest civil rights victory to come out of Houston. Another case that came from Houston is the Supreme Court case City of Houston versus Hill, which is the Supreme Court case that stands for the proposition that you have a constitutional right to say you to the police. Hey, baby. So we have to run right away to go because I'm gonna have a press conference and we're gonna announce that we change the rules and we're gonna set people free from jail. Hey, baby. How you doing? Happy to see you.
So I got a call from a reporter this morning who says, this is a big day for you, isn't it? I said, it's a big day for Harris County. And indeed it is. New Local Rule 9.1, which eliminates wealth-based discrimination in the bail bonding system in this county.
Well, we've come a long way. The new judges ran on a platform of reform. And I think this case really is as important as Sweat versus Painter or Brown versus Board of Education. And you walked into a tough one. You walked into a county where we were willing to use unlimited resources to try and fight you. So first I want to clap for the lawyers for the judges and the lawyer who sued us.
Yeah. And today, under the new rule that we helped work on through our lawsuit, nobody's going to be held in jail anymore because they can't pay. and almost everyone will be released from jail.
Judge Bynum has been sharing stories of how things are different in his court from before and how that affects real people.
People want to show up to court. People want to resolve their business. And when I grant somebody a personal bond, what I tell them is, hey, I need you to come to court. I want this to be a fair and safe place for you to come and resolve your business. And something as simple as just speaking to someone as a human being has a tremendous impact.
It's a prelude to doing much bigger things, both with felony cases here in Houston and with misdemeanor and felony cases all over the country.
I'm just so proud that we are doing it here on a scale and in a way that no one else really is. And I'm so thankful for all the effort of all the people that came before me. I really am standing on the shoulder of giants.
I launched Neighborhood Benches out of the old projects where I grew up at. You about to get on the court? I returned there for two specific reasons. I know there are leaders there who have been overlooked. And the other thing, I needed to go back to the place where I was first arrested, where I had my first experience with violence, where I had my first experience with abuse, where I had my first experience of not being able to eat. I needed to return there as a way to heal. I wanted to encourage them to do positive things that I am doing today. We don't want you to believe that you have to be arrested in order to do something positive.
Get over there, I'll make a phone call.
I can't think. I wanted the house all clean but I don't even care right now. Hey, our daughter gets to leave here and come home. Yeah.
God, the grass is strong as
It's about time.
Hi, baby.
I was hoping to have a surprise for you. It's a pretty good one, huh?
Hey. Hi, Papa man. It's your mama. It's your mommy. Hi.
You see mommy?
Papa.
What do you think?
You're so good.
Careful, baby. Look at brother. Look at brother.
Feel good too.
Yeah, thicker.
Yeah.
Cake and cornbread every day.
Peanut butter?
No, I didn't get peanut butter till I got to Platte County.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
You wanna go inside, Bubba? You wanna go inside?
Huh? Yay!
On my face for an hour.
I made those.
Oh, those are cool. You know how to make those?
Yeah.
I want you to make me one.
Okay. Mommy!
Your hair is not so red anymore. Come here.
It's so surreal. It's really surreal. It doesn't feel like I'm here, really. I still feel like I'm in a dream. There you go.
Mommy, he was like this stuff. I was trying to get up.
Haven't heard that much laughter in here in 6 months.
To stand here right now and having this as my present reality is crazy. I mean, I had my mind set that I was just going to prison. I had to come to terms with, you know, okay, you're not going to be home for the holidays. You're not probably going to be home for the next few holidays. And now I may not have to miss any. It's crazy.
I think the hardest thing that I've had to overcome and kind of just deal with is how my absence in my children's lives has affected them. Boy, it's been a lot harder to move to square 2 and 3 and 4 than I thought it would be. If they offer me something that I feel isn't totally messed up, then I will probably plea.
You have to be really careful because, you know, them being out on bond it's a house of cards. So, you know, the more time that goes by is more opportunity for things to come up in their life that can land them right back in jail.
We're at a very dangerous time in the cash bail movement. We're at the time when the system is realizing that it's not able to function like it's been functioning. There's too much disruption. And it's looking for a way to replace what it's been doing in the way that will cause the least amount of disruption.
You know, I don't deny the fact that I'm here to protect the commercial bail industry, but we should protect the right to bail first. And I think as long as we do that and continue to do that, our arguments are going to get significant weight.
Please call the absent members.
If we were to eliminate cash bail tomorrow, the question that still has to be answered is what comes next? How do we determine who gets out of jail pre-trial, who have been convicted, and who does not?
This is not just a job, but this is a lifestyle. And you know, I've been doing it for so long that, you know, I think to myself, like, you know, what else am I going to do with myself? I mean,
my hope for the future is that people realize that cash bail simply doesn't work.
What I would like to see is for our country to embrace a culture of release, one that really respects the presumption of innocence for all individuals, regardless of their color.
My hope for the future is that none of my kids will ever have to be faced by the criminal justice system. I would like to think that the relationship between officers and our children will be different.
If we continue down this path, if we continue to use jails and cages to punish people and to profit off of their suffering, we are going to see a demise in every part of our lives. It's not just a policy fight, it's a hearts and minds fight.
If I still don't feel like they're being as fair as they can be, I probably will take it to trial, which scares me, but it's kind of like, why not now? You know, you've been in it this long, you've been fighting this long. I mean, why are you gonna stop now?
Yeah, let's go. Bye-bye.
Look at.
Bye-bye.
I used to do that.
Thank you.
I used to make that face.
Let me see that face.
Let me see that face. Oh, I love that face. I love that face.